Sixth grade mathematicians, we're getting ready to do our test on circles and area of polygons. So I just kind of wanted to go over some of the things that's really important to know. The first thing you need to do, you probably need to pause it, make sure you write this down. I'm going to expect to see everybody to have this written on their test when they take their test on circles tomorrow. Because the most likely mistake you're going to make is to get diameter and radius confused, and this is going to help you make sure you get it right. Our short line here from the center to the edge is the radius. The big long line here that goes from edge to edge is diameter, and then our circumference goes around the outside. Make sure you pause this and write that down. Okay, the next thing, you're going to have a question about area. And I want to remind you that when you're looking at area, you can substitute in your numbers for any of these letters. For example, if my length is 10 and my area is 40, I could put 40 for area and 10 for length, and then I'd have 40 equals 10 times W. This is a really easy one. You could probably figure it out in your head that W would be 4 because 10 times 4 makes 40. You're going to have a question on your test that may not be quite that easy, but that's all you're going to do. If you end up with something odd, you don't have length and width like you normally do, all you have to do is rearrange it, and then you can do the algebra because you already know how to do that. You're also going to have a question on your test that's going to ask you something about the formula, and it's going to give you a picture of some different shapes, and it's going to give you the formula, and you need to know which formula goes with that shape. And of course, I wrote down the triangle one the way I usually do it, but you also might see that as 1/2 times BH. So let me write that up on the board as well. 1/2 BH. It can be written either way. So what you're going to see is you're going to see a problem, and it's going to say this is a formula. What does the formula go with? You can copy this down so that you remember this, but guys, this is on your STAR resource sheet. If you have your STAR resource sheet, all you have to do is look at it, and it tells you this is the formula for triangles, this is the formula for squares, this is the formula for rectangles. All you have to do is match the formula with the shape. Then that should be really, really super easy. You're going to have a couple shapes about a couple questions about similar shapes and scale drawings, and we already went over that today. That's in your interactive notebook, so you can look at that to study it. Basically, all the rest of the questions on the test, there's 10 questions. Everything else is going to be about diameter, radius, and circumference. You're going to have a lot of questions that'll say, this is the radius, what is the diameter? This is the diameter, what is the radius? It's really important you remember radius. To get from radius to diameter, you have to multiply times 2. To get from diameter to radius, you have to divide by 2. So that's all you're going to have to do. So I'm going to write up here on the board, just to kind of help me remember, radius is times 2 and diameter is divided by 2. That way maybe you will remember that. So I'd like you to write that down, diameter divided by 2. Radius times 2 in order to go from one to the other. Now when you're going into the area, you're taking the radius squared. That is not the same thing. I'm just talking about getting from radius to diameter. You've got really good notes in your interactive notebook. If you will look over those notes, you should be in great shape. Have a good test.